Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to take a vinyl image that's been cut on the Cricut and apply it to a solid surface. I'll be using this sign here. My images have already been cut, and what I like to do before I do this process called weeding is take the vinyl with its backing off of the back of the mat. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this all off. And I like to use the light grip mats when I do cutting on vinyl. The weeding process simply means that you take all the vinyl off that you don't want to have on your sign while leaving the remaining vinyl on there so that you can put that on the sign. A lot of times when you've got large images like this, if you just get a corner started and then peel it away slowly, most of the other pieces will come with. Next, you'll need to go in and get these little tiny pieces inside the letters. I'm going to do the same thing with the other piece. Again, this is a fairly large piece, so it shouldn't be that difficult. Also, there's a pretty large piece here that wasn't used at all of my vinyl that you probably will have a difficult time seeing there. But I'm going to go ahead and trim that off because that's a fairly substantial piece and I can reuse that somewhere else. I'm going to trim this part off too on the bottom. It'll be less to deal with as well. Okay, this will be the megaphone again. I'm going to start with the outside piece. And then go inside and grab all these other smaller inside pieces. This weeding process can be a little tedious, so if you've got a good TV show that you're watching, a lot of times this is a good thing to do while you're watching TV or listening to music or crafting with your friends or watching YouTube videos. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, if you didn't want all of these little details to be pulled out like this and you wanted this to be more solid, you could have left that in there and just put the transfer tape directly on there to include it with your design. But I like these details, so I'm going to go ahead and continue weeding. Sometimes too, I don't know. The rest of this, the transfer tape might take these off too if you're having a tough time, but I'm going to go ahead and get all that. Alright, once you're finished, the next step is to put transfer tape onto your design. The transfer tape that I'm using is this Craftopia transfer tape, but I've used Cricut brand as well, and they're about comparable. So I'm just going to cut something that'll be large enough to include the design. Obviously, you don't need to be too fussy cutting this part. This particular transfer tape is clear, and I do like to use clear transfer tape so that you can see the design underneath it. You'll see in a minute as I'm placing this onto the sign that you're going to want the image to be seen so you know where to put it. After you put the transfer tape, I also like to use a tool to make sure that the image really gets on there. It makes it easier to peel the image off later. these other pieces that are larger but not attached to the roll anymore, I like to place inside the roll. Oh, and this Craftopia transfer tape I got on Amazon. The Cricut transfer tape is also good. I've gotten it from Joann's before, but they never seem to have a good coupon deal, so I usually end up getting it from Amazon. You can also kind of use your fingernail to get it started. Okay, now it's time to apply it to our sign. I'm going to want the letters to be all the way across to the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the lettering first. To take these off, I sometimes have to help them along a little bit. You want the letters to be on the transfer tape and take it off with this backing here. Sometimes I find if the item I want it to be on is on the bottom and the release tape is on top, peeling it back like this is a lot easier than trying to peel the other part the other way. Once the release paper is off, simply place this where you'd like on your sign. Now before I push this down all the way, I'm going to kind of test it out and audition where I would like the megaphone to be. I think that'll look good. So we're going to for sure want this to be here. Again, you'll want to use your spatula or a credit card to make sure these letters are on the sign really securely. Now this sign has a texture and there's some grooves here. I wouldn't want the letters to break, and they will if you push in with a fingernail or an edge. So I'm just going to make sure I'm rubbing this way so that I don't make any indentations in these letters. Then it's time to release your tape. If any of the letters feel like they might come up a little bit like that, just simply press it back down. Next, for the megaphone, peel this off the same way. Again, you want it on the tape, so peeling this way makes it a little easier. It's not the end of the world if you push your transfer tape back onto the lettering here, but you will want to be careful when you pull this up later so that you don't release the letter from the sign. Sometimes this is a good trick too, using the spatula to push the image down, especially in these more detailed places. Alright, and that's it. Your sign is complete. I hope this helps anybody who's interested in transferring vinyl to solid surfaces. Stay tuned for more videos as I attempt to show you heat transfer vinyl on fabric surfaces. Have a good one. Happy crafting.